Good day, everybody. In our first aircraft arresting cable video, we made a kitchen knife that looked like this. You can check the description for a link to that. Today we're going to take another run at this material, so we'll get started with an acetone soak to degrease the cable. Since it's going into a canister for forge welding, we need to make sure to remove as much of that gunk as possible because it won't burn off in a can. We're going to put it in the canister with some 26C3 steel attached to the side, which will be our cutting edge. The canister itself, as usual, is coated with titanium dioxide powder and has stainless foil lining the sides to keep the 1084 steel powder and cable billet from sticking to it. Yeah, the resulting billet is huge, so we're going to only use half of it, and after forging that down, we'll only need half of that again, which we're going to forge to shape, then heat treat and grind. And we're moving so fast at this point, you've probably already guessed the results are just not that great, and you'd be right.
Impressive. Most impressive.
No problem. I think there's some things we can do to help. First, the outside strands seem to etch a bit more differentially than the inner core, so if we cut the welded ends off the cable, we can peel off the outer strands and use them. I have to admit the intersection looks pretty cool. Maybe we can come back to that later and find something neat to do with that. For now, let's get the outer strands sectioned up. We're going to soak them in acetone. After the acetone, we're going to soak the strands in vinegar, and that's going to add a layer of iron oxide to the outside of the cable. And that iron oxide will etch brightly in the canister, and so it'll provide this sort of outline, or it should provide an outline to the cable material. You can see how it's darkened up on the outside, and it'll actually even take on some rust, which is fine because that's an iron oxide too. And in a canister, that's going to weld up just fine. The iron oxides will be reduced and weld, and we're all good. My kid's favorite joke right now is, how did Darth Vader know what Luke was getting for Christmas? He felt his presence. They got that from Siri on my iPhone, who, as far as Star Wars dad jokes go, has me beat, hand down.
So here's the question, what do I do now? I can tile it up on end, so this is the pattern you see across it. Or do I need to just draw it out this way and grind through it so that you can see the cable running lengthways? I don't know. Maybe there's enough material for both. I don't know. Gotta put some thought to this.
Here we've drawn it out a bit more under the press. Then we're gonna clean it up. And since it's more steel than we need, we're going to chop it in half. We're going to add some nice 15 and 20 edge steel to one side and some sacrificial mild steel to the other. This will help keep our forge welded powdered steel from splitting as we draw the billet out, which it tends to do. The mild steel piece is so thin it'll most likely flake off as forge scale. If there's any left, it can be ground away pretty easily. The white powder on the anvil, it's borax. It's what I use for forge welding. A lot of people ask that. Not a lot to say here. It's been rough ground. It's into steel foil where we're going to do some thermal cycling before a quench. Then it's back to the grinder for some more finish grinding. We'll sand it by hand to 1000 grit after that, etch it in ferric chloride. Then we're going to add some stabilized curly acacia handles with a nice true oil finish. It's sort of a semi-gloss finish. It's going to look pretty cool. The pattern is going to turn out pretty cool. I can't explain the bright flecks in the powdered steel portion of it. As you'll see, I'm not sure exactly what happened there. Maybe you guys have an idea. But overall, I think this was a worthwhile endeavor to try and get a little bit different result than our original effort. You guys have a good one.